This is a training video for Hillsborough Aviation's turbine helicopter fleet mechanics. The purpose of this video is to show our mechanics how we would like them to keep track of their time, both in the shop using a combination of ADP and TFBO, and out in the field using strictly ADP. To get started with ADP, we'll go to the right side of the page and click on the My Time Card button, which will load the employee's time card. Now in this case, it's a Monday. We're going to say that the employee starts at 8 a.m., so we will put in 800 into the time in field. And since we're punching in at the beginning of the day, we're not sure what time we're going to leave for lunch, so we'll skip over that. Pay codes, we want to leave these blank when we're working in the shop. We will be using pay codes when we are doing work for a contract, either traveling to a contract or working there in the field, but when you're working in the shop, please keep the pay code blank. Now normally this department field will be auto-filled with 50176. That is the turbine fleet maintenance department. In this example, this test employee profile does not have a department assigned to him, so it's blank, but you will see 50176, which is the code for turbine fleet maintenance. So you can make sure that when you're working in the shop, you want that to be 50176. Now let's say that this employee punched out for lunch at 12 noon. So I'm going to put 12 noon into the out time, and the system will then calculate that that's 4 hours worked from 8 a.m. to 12. The next line below is also for Monday, 6/22. So this is a 45-minute lunch, so I'm going to put 1245 and tab over. And then let's say that the employee left at 5:30 p.m. that day. So I could either write 5:30 and tab over, or I can write 17:30 and the system knows that that is 5:30 p.m. Again, I want to make sure that the department is set to 50176, and like I mentioned before, this will be defaulted for most mechanics to 50176. When you're in the shop, make sure your department is set to 50176. Now, when you do these punch in and punch out through ADP, you're set. This is what you get paid off of, so you want to make sure and punch in first thing in the morning, and then punch out for your lunch, punch back in after lunch like we did at 12:45, and then punch out before you go home. Once you've punched into ADP at the beginning of your shift, then you will start to punch in and out of different work orders in TFBO. The other thing to keep in mind in ADP is you always need to click this Save button at the top of the screen. Once you click the Save button, you'll get a green bar that shows you that everything that you've entered has been saved. When a mechanic is working for us and they need to travel to a contract, we obviously don't have the access for them to punch in and out of work orders in TFBO when they're working in these remote locations. So we've asked our mechanics to start using ADP to keep track of that time. In this example, our mechanic is going to be working in the shop from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. So just like in the previous example, we're going to have him punch in at 8 a.m. and punch out at 10 a.m. Again, we want to make sure that the department is set to 50176 because this is work that he is doing in our shop. And as I previously mentioned, the pay code in the shop is left blank. Now from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., he is traveling to the contract to do the work. So we will put 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. This is when we use the travel pay code. If you click on the magnifying glass next to the blank field there, you see a bunch of pay codes to use. Select travel for the time when you are actually traveling to or from the contract. The other difference is we need to select 50132, contract and charter support staff and on-contract maintenance, instead of the normal 50176. This means that the time is going to be billed to the contract and charter department. Now we've used both of the lines for Tuesday, so you can click the little plus sign next to Tuesday to add another line for that day. Let's say in this example, the mechanic shows up at 3 p.m. to the job site, but the helicopter is busy flying from 3 to 5 p.m. and he can't do the maintenance required on the helicopter yet. He's going to be sitting and waiting there, but still being paid for those 2 hours. So from 3 to 5 p.m., we want to select the 1236 pay code, which is the first one at the top of the list. Select this when you're not working on the helicopter and you're not traveling. The department used in this case will again be 50132, as this work needs to be billed to the contract and charter department. We'll need to add another line on Tuesday to keep track of the time when the mechanic is actually working on the helicopter. In this case, he's working from 5 to 7 p.m. on the actual helicopter doing the required maintenance. For the pay code, we will actually use the N number that the mechanic is working on. In this case, it's 407 Mike Charlie. Again, the department is 050132, the contract and charter staff, support staff, and on-contract maintenance. Now that the maintenance is done, the mechanic can go home for the day, and he punches out at 7 p.m. Tomorrow morning, he'll arrive on contract, but won't be doing any work. So his day starts at 8 a.m., and he works until 5 p.m., and doesn't touch the helicopter at all. This entire block of time is going to be billed to 1236 time and to the 50132 department. Again, always make sure you click Save.